For some time, I wanted to make a video about my experience about going to Army basic training when I went in January 2025. I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I'm in the Army National Guard. Reserve and National Guard and active duty, they all go to basic training together, and then after graduation is when they all go their separate ways. Like most people, I think, before I went, I was looking up online videos about people's experiences like this, and also footage of basic training, because I wanted to figure out, like, okay, what's it going to be like? And now I can give my kind of more detailed account about what it was like. Is it true? Is it like what I saw in the videos? And for the most part, everything online is a fair and accurate representation of what it's actually like. But I can kind of give some more nuance about some of the points that, not everyone touched on and stuff like that. Which is like just the format of it. The way that I think about it is, all you're there is to meet the graduation requirements. There's a set of items, right? It's like 6 big things, and your whole time there is just to knock those out, and that's all you need to graduate, right? It's 10 weeks long, plus 11 if you counting reception, because everything in the Army is mass and to scale. So just to do anything, eating, breakfast, lunch, dinner, chow, all takes an hour and a half to get your 200 plus person platoon through the chow hall, right? Because you send them in 10 at a time, you parade them through the tables, you sit down together, you have 8 to 10 minutes to eat, and then you all go outside and wait for the rest of your group. And that just takes time, just because there's so many of you, right? So graduation requirements, right? You got your Army, weapons qualification, Army fitness test. You got the rappel tower, gas chamber. You got the field exercises, some other warrior task and battle drills, medical, tactical stuff. That all doing it yourself doesn't take that much time. The weapons qualification course is 5 minutes long, right? And you got to do it, 2 to 3 times. Zero your weapon. Just to get everyone through anything takes a long time. So that's why it's 10 weeks. It's just because it's several days just to do like one event. The weapons qualification course is 40 targets that pop up in a sequence randomly, and you have to get 23 out of 40 targets, right? They're like big silhouette targets with a head. You can look up the sequence online because it's the same every time, right? Because they show up like 2 or 3, sometimes 4 at a time in different orders. You'll have like 100 meter, a 300 meter, 200 meter, and some configuration pop up for a few seconds, and then they'll pop back down, and you got to shoot them while they're up. You can look up the sequence online and have an advantage because you'll know which targets are coming up next. The Army fitness test, it's the AFT now, was the ACFT when I was there. They took out the standing power throw where you just throw the medicine ball over your head, which I'm glad, because that was such a cumbersome event. Now it's the deadlift, three repetitions. You got the hand release push-ups, right? Kind of a variant of the push-up. You got the sprint, drag, carry, as the name suggests. You got to sprint, drag, carry the stuff, and there's also a shuffle in there, but that didn't make the name. You got a plank, and then you got your 2-mile run, and that's it. And you can look up the standards online, all very reasonable standards that most people can do with a fundamental level of training. You got the gas chamber, which is a very, very miserable 10 to 15, 20 seconds, right? You see the videos of like people coming out crying, coughing, snot all over. It's very real. But what you don't know is that feels amazing because you're in the fresh air, right? It's awful when you're in there in the building, but as soon as you step out and you're getting like fresh air, it's the best. So what you don't know is that in those videos, they are having a blast because they get some fresh air. And then you find out after like a minute. Then you got the rappel tower where you got your harness where you got to go off the 40-foot tower. You'll start off with like a incline tower that's not as tall before going to the vertical 90-degree one. That one's all about, you got to finesse the angle of the rope on your harness, because what angle you have determines how much of your body weight is on it. I had a hard time with that, basically because I was holding it wrong. I was like holding all my body weight with one arm, and so you just got to get the angle right. You got your field exercises. That's when your ruck marches happen. You got your 4, 6, and 10-mile ruck march. If you can, this will depend on where you end up, what your company and battalion policy is on getting boots, right? I was able to ship some boots from home. Sometimes they'll allow you to actually buy some boots on base, especially if you have a profile, basically a doctor's note saying you need boots. That makes a difference with the ruck marches, because those several mile marches in the boots that they give you is miserable because they are designed for longevity, right? Those Army issued boots will last forever. It's because they're like, it's hard rubber, and they're just the most uncomfortable thing ever. So definitely, if you can, get some boots. Same thing with the sneakers. Depending on the policy of what they have, they will issue you running shoes, but you can also sometimes bring your own, and if they approve them, you can also use your own running shoes. Again, depending where you end up, because that's kind of a new thing they're implementing with the athletic trainers. Other than that, you got the, just basic tactical weapons and warrior task and battle drills is what it is. Some medical stuff, right? Care under fire, returning fire, how to do the tourniquet and all that kind of stuff. It's classroom stuff, and then you'll do it out in the field, and they'll implement that into the field exercises. Depending on where you end up, you're either going to sleep in tents or foxholes. We dug foxholes and then had our sleeping area with our sleeping system on the ground. Most of the day with the field exercises was spent digging the foxholes with your little E-tool, which is a very small tool to dig the holes. And then you're spending the whole day improving your fighting position, which basically means make your hole, deeper, cover it with foliage and other branches and stuff from around, so it can be camouflaged both from the ground and the air. And then, it depends, but you'll have it, with the drill sergeants might come during the night and, start firing off blanks, and you gotta, take the appropriate action with the returning fire and getting, all your buddies to work together on that. And then you got the ruck marches, and depending on, and everything depends where you end up, because each basic training base is different, right? I've talked to soldiers who have graduated from other states, but then also within each base, each battalion is different, with a different battalion commander and different company commander, who they have some discretion within some certain guidelines how they want to execute the mission the way they see fit, right? So the fundamentals are the same. You're going to have your several mile ruck march. You're going to have, your PT days and all that. What that looks like will be determined by which company you end up in, right? But for the most part, the big things stay the same. Those are the big ones for the graduation requirements. Again, very few people don't make it through to graduation. Most of the time, what gets the most people from not making it to graduation is usually something medical, right? Either because they're not physically conditioned, they see the on-base doctor, on-post doctor there, and they get, they're on a profile, and you can't graduate when you're on a profile. So if you're on crutches or on any sort of medical assistance there, you're not able to graduate. That's what gets most people. But for the weapons qualification, they'll find a way to get you through, right? They'll work with you. Same thing with anything physical. They will work with you and find a way to get you to pass. It's incredible how many people they were able to get to pass all the graduation requirements. So it's nothing to be worried about. The only thing I was kind of nervous for was the weapons qual, because I think, you got to pass with the 23 out of 40 targets, which sounded easy. That's just over 50%. But like day one, I got 15 targets, and I was like, dang, I'm going to get recycled, meaning go back to week one, where you have to basically start over again, which does happen to people. People do get recycled. This is just an aside, but you'll also see, so let's say someone from another battalion had something come up. They got jammed up for something, had something medical. They'll just tag in with you wherever you're at. You might be at like week 5, and you just got a new person in your group who, subbed in from somewhere else, and other people from your company might leave to go somewhere. So you'll see that as well, which kind of touches on, which I think is the interesting component here, which is all the behavioral stuff with all the opinions. Everyone has an opinion, and this is relevant because one of the big things that they're getting on you about is how to work together. The goal is to graduate, but the theme is, hey, can you as a group work together to accomplish something? That's like a fundamental thing they're gonna harp on. And it's amazing because people come from so many different backgrounds, right? Army basic training, people coming into the Army, they come from everywhere, from different geographic backgrounds, different socioeconomic backgrounds, right? So everyone has a range of opinions, and it's interesting to see, who are the ones taking charge, who are the troublemakers, and they give you opportunities to be like, hey, hey, is there anything going on? Like, people are clashing. We'll give you like some time to be like, hey, like, do you need to talk to each other to figure things out? Because that's what determines, in part, how much you get smoked, right? Because it'll usually be because like some wise guy is being like, oh, they're acting up because they don't care, and it's whatever, and it's mass punishment. So if anyone messes up, if one person is late, the whole company, depending on the circumstance, the whole platoon is getting smoked, is getting jammed up, is getting their phone taken away or something like that, right? And that really is interesting to see just how everyone kind of approaches ways to work with each other, or like, it's I don't want to say drama, but it is kind of like that because everyone has a different opinion about someone's style, because there's going to be the leaders, who take charge. Each platoon has a student, leader, student leadership, which is someone from your platoon. And it's like, oh, do we like this person? Do I want to listen to this person? Well, they're in charge, so you kind of have to. And working with that dynamic, it's very interesting to see. The best advice that you'll hear that everyone in the Army will say is right place, right time, right uniform. Right place. Where is the thing happening? Are we meeting on the platoon lines? Are we meeting out by the PT field? Right time, right? Did something get pushed back? Are we meeting later? Are we meeting earlier? And then right uniform. This is mostly it's relevant with like the PT uniform and the OCP uniform. The PT uniform has so many configurations because you got like the pants, the short sleeve, the long sleeve, the jacket. And then depending on the weather, you will get instruction on like, okay, are we wearing the pants and the long sleeve, the pants and the short sleeve, the shorts and the long sleeve. And you have to make sure that all 200 of y'all are wearing the same thing. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. Same thing with the OCP. You got cold weather, wet weather, all sorts of different configurations. And you have to make sure that you're all wearing the same thing. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem because uniformity is a big one there. All that, most people I know, I would say, could make it through basic training without a problem. It's just long days, getting up early, and going to bed late and doing that all over again. It's the sum of all those long days that kind of gets to you. It's not, there's no like, oh my goodness, this is overwhelming. It's just how long. It's a bunch of mediocre, sucky days for 10 weeks, 11 weeks if you count it. But then you get to go to AIT, and AIT is a whole different thing. I might talk about that later. For the most part, it's you get more privileges, or you have the opportunity to get more privileges. And it's much better after you just got to make it through 10 weeks of basic, and then you can transition into something that's not basic.